Good morning, everybody. We made it to Friday. I know there's a little bit of a lag in the beginning. Can you hear me okay? Tamara has been a member for 10 months. Thank you, Tamara. Real quick, while I'm getting to that, speaking of members, if you check the members tab, we have a big day on Monday. If you look at the screen, Monday morning is all about you. We're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. You name the crime, I got the time and I got the gifts. I got it. I don't mean the type that you throw up in Facebook when you have nothing else to say. We got giveaways, the whole 9 yards. So make sure you set your reminder. That is Central Time, 9 a.m. living on Tulsa time. So what we got going on today? A lot of nonsense. A lot of things to talk about, sort out amongst friends, of course. Amongst people that know what it's all about, except for what these disgusting people do. Let's see what's in here. Hello, Lola. Where you been, Lola? I haven't seen you for a while. Just me made it in. Lauren's here. Brittany James said I'm in OKC. She knows what I'm talking about. UFC's here. Snow is in. She said, woohoo, bring your stories. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Alonka made it in. Nene Nut. Thank you. Pat is coming in. Hermit Z Frog. Hello. I see some new names. While I'm doing my normal romper room hello. Make sure you hit that sub button. Hello, Erica. JTB's here. AV. Steve Beasley, what are you doing? You not working on Friday? You playing hooky? What's going on, Steve? Hello, Mayor. Hey, Magenta. Hello, Karen. A lot of you I said hi to this morning. Matter of fact, Ree was in here at like 4:30 this morning. So we had like a early morning chat. That was pretty awesome. Hello, Christina. Hello. So it is Friday, October 28th. We're almost to November, almost to Thanksgiving, almost to Election Day, almost to Christmas time, New Year's. We'll be having a New Year's show pretty soon, if you can believe that. I can't believe it. The year has gone by, but there's been some people that have kept us pretty damn busy. People like Dawn Wells, Candace Wells, the whole circle around Kylie Rodney. Can't forget Teardrop. We talked about him this week at length. Now, of course, we have our new friends. I say that in jest. Billy, Leilani, Danny. Not going to forget Danny. And much like the Casey Anthony case, Leilani has a mom who is spending more time. And I know that some people get very upset when you throw shade at Cindy Anthony. It has to be done today. She's spending more time trying to get the heat off of Leilani than get the truth for Quentin. She's like the general, okay? General Billy, General Bildo. She's in other chats now. She uses the handle Nana's Love. So if you see a Nana's Love come in here, it's actually a common handle. Just say, hey, what's up? Be cool. I doubt she'll come chat with us. I very seriously doubt she's going to want to come chat with us. The other day, I think Sarah, you sent this to me. If not, you're getting credit for it. She put this in a chat. She's a wrench too. She says, why would anyone think she's innocent? I agree. I agree. Why would anyone think Danny is innocent? I get it. I get it. Now she's leaving out Paul, who was there as well. We don't talk about Paul. But then, of course, she can't leave well enough alone. She says, why would anyone think the babysitter is innocent? Well, can you define which babysitter? Do we mean Diana, who you even said she could have gone in and taken him, or the fake babysitter, the one that you swore was going to be a 24/7 housekeeper, chef, nanny that was supposed to start the morning that 911 had to be called? Well, because Diana told him to. Who? So my question is, she has a lot of time with Leilani, with all the drugging and the drinking and the YouTubing and the taunting the people that are out in the street. Has Leilani said anything to her that might be interesting to the police? I don't know. By now, she would have to. And another question for the chat, I'm going to ask you right now. Do you think that if Leilani broke down and said, Mom, you're right, when you were talking to that other person and it circulated all around Hell's Half Acre, all over the internet, you were right, I did do it. This is what happened. Do you think Billy would tell the police? Do you think she would turn on her and tell the police? Or do you think she would continue along the way she's doing right now, whereas they're just watching the seconds, the minutes, the hours, the days fade away, and every day that goes on, they get more confident because they're not finding Quentin in that landfill yet. They said it could take a long, long time. They missed that part. Where Summer said, hell no. Mary, not a chance. Jules, nope. Nope. She said, I think she'll stand by her. Did you guys ever hear about the case out of Florida? Morgan Keene and Argelio Pupo. It's a disgusting, disgusting case. Her daughter was essayed, that's putting it mildly, by Argelio. The little girl told her grandmother, this is what Argelio has been doing to me. And of course, the grandmother, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. You know, you stay right here. She recorded her statement. She had her aunt come in and she was still explaining what was going on. She wanted to make sure someone else was hearing it. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. Renee brings up her daughter, Morgan. I don't know exactly how she asked the little girl, how would your mother not know this? She didn't assume that she knew. She said she knows because one time when he hurt me, she got a sewing kit and fixed it. The grandmother called the police. Many, many other things went on throughout the night. Morgan Keene is still sitting in jail and will probably never see the light of day again. So is Argelio Pupo. Now that's a grandmother's love. To say, I'm going to protect my grandchild. You see, Billy doesn't have that. Billy's not going to do that. Billy didn't do that. Billy left little Quentin with someone that she knows very well is capable of violence, is a drug addict, doesn't care about anyone but herself, goes from boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend. She knows these things. She left him anyway. She knows them because she raised her. She raised her. This is such an effed up thing with these women. I don't mean anybody in here. I don't mean me. I don't mean any of you. That the new boyfriend or whatever's going on in their life, it could just be wanting to go party, is more important than the kids. It goes back forever. I think the first case that really hit the mainstream media was Diane Downs. She came up with such an elaborate story about a carjacker. Really? We're on the road. This guy stops us. She even shot herself. We had Diane Downs. Susan Smith took a page from that book and said we got carjacked. They've got my kids. But she had rolled them into a lake. Darlie Reuter. Megan Boswell. One story after another. She didn't just find a story and stick with it. She's a lot like Leilani. His dad has him. No, my mom has him. Well, I know who has him, but I can't say because I don't want anything to happen to Evelyn. I've got to keep it quiet. Letitia Staunch. I think he ran away, is what she said about little Gannon. Then she said some guy named Eduardo broke in. Then we come to the most famous, Casey Anthony. With this case, it's like Leilani and Billy have taken a page out of each of their books and we're putting it together. I'm waiting on a carjacking. That's what I'm waiting on. That's all we're missing. We've heard all of these stories before. The door was left open. He got in the pool. He had to have drowned. Oh, no. Danny was probably giving the kids a bath, and when he was getting Zane out, then Quentin drowned. Oh, no, we think we snatched him during the night. Oh, no, we think Diana has him. But they can't explain why there are federal agents searching a landfill. They can't. That's what's really messed up. They can't explain that. Oh, I am just so tired of these. Oh, I hit the wrong button. That was really smart. They're just too dumb for their own good. They really are. They really are. Let me go through some comments from the last stage. I already see some people backstage. I'll bring you guys up in a second because it's Friday. We're going to try to keep it as cool as possible. As cool as possible. Hold on. All right. Love your after show comments. Love your comments in chat, emails, you name it. If I showcase your after show comment, send me an email. You'll know why. November Day said Leilani and Billy Joe are probably sticking together now because they know they're both in trouble. This seems like a simple comment, but there's a lot more to it. Things with Billy, and I don't mean that November Day left a stupid comment, just seems like something we have talked about before. Billy is really cracking down. Billy's really cracking down. She's feeling the heat. We spoke on the show a couple of days ago. What is being held over her head? Does Leilani have some kind of hold on her? Why is she spending any effort to protect Leilani at all? Why? Why is she allowing her in the house? I guess I could understand it if it was a look, I'm going to keep an eye on her to make sure nothing happens because she is going to pay for this. She's not saying that though. Today, Jennifer Coffindaffer on Twitter, she's a former FBI agent, she put this on Twitter. She says, excellent timeline. She says, concerning Quentin Simon, law enforcement steadfastly working to bring the facts together to charge this case. Leilani is the person of interest, but Billy may have liability as guardian under GC 15-11-2F when she chose to leave Quentin with Leilani, knowing Leilani was unfit. She knew it. This could be the reason that Billy is defending Leilani so hard. When I was speaking to, maybe if she's in here, hopefully she can, well, she can't grab the link. Anyway, a social worker in Georgia. She is not in Savannah. She said there will definitely be an investigation. CPS was already involved. Hands down, CPS was already involved. There will be an investigation. As far as if it will become criminal charges against Billy, she said, I don't know because I don't know. She said, it sounds like she could very, very well be in trouble. So is that the reason that Billy is doing everything she can to take the heat off of Leilani and put it on Danny, Diana, swimming pool, bathtub? What do you think? I don't know. Adjusted Fate said, I doubt the house is wired. Because we were talking about, we had a comment, which made perfect sense to me. They're probably sitting in the backyard because they think the house is bugged. They probably think that. I hope it is. I hope it is. But Adjusted Fate said, I doubt the house is bugged because that requires entry in high risk. I don't know. The FBI has a way of doing it. But anyway, this is just her opinion. She said, a cell phone is the best eavesdropping device there is in most everybody's hand or pocket. This is true. The FBI can hear and see everything everywhere. This is true. If they want to tap into that, they certainly can. My question is more enabling. It's been said Leilani has a phone, but she didn't have a phone. Law enforcement had them turn their phones over. They did not give them back. Maybe Danny got his back. I'm not for sure. She's a person of interest. They're not going to give her shit back. Who got her another phone? Who? I don't know. Let's take a guess. Who would have gotten her another phone? Craig G said the cops didn't search the house. Oh, yeah, they most definitely did. That's how they came across the evidence that led them to believe that Quentin is deceased. More enabling. Jackie Wilson said, turn yourself in, Leilani. For once, act like an adult and take responsibility. You know what you did. She's not going to take responsibility because one of the many, many excuses is the FBI told her she doesn't remember. Billy, weeks ago, said she doesn't remember. She done it. She doesn't remember, though. But the question remains, if she does say something, which could be any little thing, will Billy turn her in? I don't know. We kind of doubt it, don't we? So a couple of days ago, it comes out in the Daily Mail. Now, yesterday we had a show for Michelle Reynolds. Thank you very much for being here for that. If you missed it, catch the replay. And for Debbie Collier, that's been crazy from day one. It's getting crazier. So the day before in the afternoon, I put a clip up on the channel. This is Billy talking to Bubba. Bubba's Quentin's father. It's official now. We're not playing birth certificate bingo anymore. He's the daddy. He's the daddy. He recorded a phone call between him and Billy. He turned it over to Daily Mail, and they played a snippet of it. Supposedly, the phone call is 11 minutes long. I have not heard the whole 11 minutes. My understanding is the little snippet that came out is all they're going to release because the police are keeping the rest. I don't know. That's just what I heard. That's just what I heard. So I'm going to play that real quick. Hold on. And I'm going to bring up a couple of guests to discuss this.
I feel strongly about that. I feel honestly and truthfully, Bubba, I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like there was an accident. I feel like something happened while Quentin was in the bathtub and he drowned, and they were both high. That's my theory.
Well, hell, they should have just called the police if something like that happened.
If you're high as hell, man, you do stupid shit. Even your son.
That's all it comes down to. You're going to hear that again in a second. If you're high as hell, you do stupid shit. This is a conversation between her and Bubba. This is not on YouTube. This is not talking to the police. This is not taking shots of Patron and yelling at the protesters. This is her mano a mano having a conversation with Bubba. No one else is listening, right? Well, he recorded it. Oh, someone said it had too much of an echo. Hang on, I'll replay it. She goes into, I think something happened. We're back to the accident theory. With these women, it's always an accident or somebody else. Diane Downs, Susan Smith, Megan Boswell. We haven't even talked about Summer Wells. A lot of people say there was an accident, it got covered up. I understand you wanting to think that way. I do. In that case, you've got two parents saying she was abducted. Don't look at me. I'm a perfect parent. I love my kids. Did you see my pictures on Facebook? They loved their presents that the church donated. So we're like Casey Anthony. We have an accident that someone just didn't know what to do and they covered up, which is a major, major, major crime. So let's listen to it again. I'll see what I can do about the echo. Hang on.
I feel strongly about that. I feel honestly and truthfully, Bubba, I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like there was an accident. I feel like something happened while Quentin was in the bathtub and he drowned, and they were both high. That's my theory.
Well, hell,
That's it. That sums it up, right? When you're high, you do stupid shit. That's it. That is her summation of October 5th. But what they never mention, again, this is just a recorded phone call between her and Bubba. She's talking to Quentin's father. Well, you know, when you're high, you do stupid shit. This is damage control. She's covering her ass because she knows by now. I don't believe for a second she hasn't asked some investigator, FBI agent, somebody somewhere, could she be in trouble? I don't believe for a minute this woman hasn't checked on her own hide yet. I don't believe for a minute she hasn't thought about her own ass sitting in a jail cell.
they should just call the police if something like that happened.
If you're high as hell, man, you do stupid shit. Even yourself, you're a different person. Because I'm not defending her. You know what I mean? But I know I'm not the same person on this. I feel strongly about that. I feel honestly and truthfully, Bubba, I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like there was an accident. I feel like something happened while Quentin was in the bathtub and he drowned, and they were both high. That's my theory.
Well, hell, they should just call the police if something like that happened.
If you're high as hell, man, you do stupid shit.
And that's it. If you're high as hell, you do stupid shit. She knows she's not the same person when she's on drugs. Sorry, I had that muted. Never mind little Quentin. Never mind the people that flew in from Quantico to go through the landfill piece by piece, inch by inch, to try to find some remnant of Quentin. When you're high as hell, you do stupid shit, though. When you're high as hell. Now, Quentin, it came out, about a month ago. Bubba is his father. So, Bubba has been speaking primarily to the Daily Mail. Now, it goes without saying, as we know, Daily Mail does pay for interviews. That is something that is really pissing Billy off. Okay? We don't know that he has accepted any money. We don't know that they offered. Just over the years they're known to. All right, Brett Buffington put this up on Twitter and said, Quentin Simon's dad ignored me when I asked if he would tell me about his son. He lives in Girard, Georgia with his girlfriend. They always have a new boo, don't they? Always. Valentine's Day, every day for these people. This isn't far from where he used to live with Leilani and Billy Joe. All right, so he doesn't want to talk to Brett Buffington. He doesn't have to. He's been talking to Daily Mail, though. That's where that recording came from. All right. Billy, this was in Discord last night. I don't remember who posted this. Billy sent a text to Bubba. She said, Bubba Moss, you are the worst kind of father. You never care or took an opportunity that I gave you over and over. Now, why would she? She's the grandmother. If she's got that type of pull that she can referee the relationship between Leilani, Bubba, and Quentin, then she could have done a lot more before going out of town to work, not fretting her for that, to ensure the safety of Quentin. But anyway, you never care or took an opportunity that I gave you over and over. In those opportunities, you chose to come on to me and the nanny. Bubba's been flirting with Billy and Diana? Am I reading this correctly? What the hell is going on here? You never care or took an opportunity that I gave you over and over. In those opportunities, you chose to come on to me and the nanny. Sure. I don't want to picture this. I do not want to picture a Billy, Diana, and Bubba menage a trois. That is what Billy is saying. She has topped a lot of other cases now. Billy wins on this one. But not once did you ever show up or show out for Quentin until now. I'm sure you're making money off your son, you piece of shit. How dare you act like you care or spend 1 second of your life talking bad about me or tricking me into a phone call you recorded without my consent. I pray you get the help you need. Using your son, Quentin Simon, as a source to make money to fuel your cocaine drug habit is disgusting. How dare you disrespect Quentin? He is a baby, Bubba. Your son. Anybody want to weigh in on that? She's offended about him taking money to fuel his cocaine habit. I got nothing. I'm speechless on that one. He's been trying to get, he wants to be the meat in the woman's sandwich between Diana and Billy. And not a good daddy. Out of all of that, the nicest thing she had to say was he's just not a good dad. That's okay. And then he betrays her trust by recording this phone call. Well, when you're a suspect, Billy, which you are not in the disappearance of Quentin, but him being left alone with Leilani, I have a feeling pretty much everybody that talks to you, Billy, everybody is recording what you have to say. Crazy. She wasn't done though. She's not done. General Billy she's heading this, okay? She's fighting all these little battles. She forgot there's a war she can't win because the evidence is pointing towards Leilani. That's where the evidence is pointing, according to the police. All right. So then she goes after Dan the man. What kind of man runs his girlfriend under the bus when the heat's on? Whoa. I suggest you do what's right. Because the heat you see on Billy's house, it's coming to you and your family, your mom's work. It's coming in hella hot for you, Danny. Do what's right, Danny, or have all the heat you've seen on them come back out and your mama tenfold. So from Camp Billy, shots are fired to Danny. Some people would call that intimidating a witness. I don't know. It was also on Facebook in some comments today between Diana and another person. She has been threatened by the family. It won't stop. This is not going to stop. It's going to get crazier and crazier and crazier. I'm going to start bringing everybody from backstage up one at a time. Let's start with our friend, This Country Girls Live. First in line, how are you, girlfriend?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Well, I'm not doing like threesome with Billy and Diana good, but it's a Friday. How are you?
Oh, where did you see that at? That's horrible.
Well, it's just one thing after another, my friend.
Always.
It's to me, it's just damage control. What are you making of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's diversion tactics, let's have everybody look everywhere but where they should be looking.
Yeah.
Because if Leilani goes down, Billy Joe goes down, so it's fight or flight mode.
Well, and I'm glad that somebody took the time to look up the law, which I mean, she ought to know a little something about something. She is retired FBI. And instead of just saying like everyone else, Jennifer Coffindaffer, she came through on this one. So instead of a speculation saying, oh, I wonder if Billy's going to get in trouble. I bet Billy could get in big trouble. Oh, I bet Billy could get in trouble. I want to see Billy get in trouble. She puts it out there. BJ may have liability as guardian under GC 1511-2F when she chose to leave Quentin with Leilani, knowing Leilani was unfit.
Well, I mean, that's why the kids got put into foster care. So, I mean, obviously this is true because that's why they took the kids away. Because she had liability as a guardian.
Good observation. That's quite the elephant in the room, isn't it? They didn't get to stay with Billy and tell Leilani, you have to leave. We don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. Kind of like last call at the bar. You can go anywhere, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think. They don't think that those kids are safe with either one of them at this point.
They're not safe with anyone. They're not safe alone on that back porch. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised with the tension, the heat, and everything's going on. It hasn't come fist to fist in that backyard between Billy and Leilani. I really am.
It may still happen. If they keep getting drunk and acting stupid, it may happen. And I think when you were talking about the phone call, I think what bugs me the most is how nonchalant Billy Joe is about the whole thing. Like, when you're high as hell, you do stupid shit, like let your baby drown and throw him away, like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I would say are stupid shit, but that's not one of them. And even Bubba, if that's the case, they should have called the police. I mean, if you find your child has drowned in the bathtub or whatever, you call for help. You try to revive them. You don't just say, well, I guess I better go put him in a dumpster.
No, it doesn't work that way. And when the only voice of reason out of all of this is Bubba saying, well, they should have called.
Right?
That's the only voice of reason we have out of this entire circus is Bubba saying, well, they should have called the police. And what does she say? Well, you know,
Yeah,
when
they should have.
she doesn't say, well, you're damn right they should have. That's the reason they're looking in the landfill right now. And it makes me sick to my stomach to think about little Quentin out there and what he went through. She says, well, you know, when you're high as shit, you do stupid shit.
I know. I mean, what kind of response is that? I mean, it's almost like she's just like, oh, well, you know, like it's justified because they were high and shit happens. Like I said, there's no emotion there. She's so nonchalant about it. She just is like, shit happens. No, this is your grandbaby. And then she talks about she didn't know they were in any danger. Then why did you have custody in the first place? And she says, you know, I'm not the same person when I'm on drugs. Okay, that's really good to know. So what was happening in this freaking house? Mm-hmm. Is anybody not on drugs?
No.
And she says in that article that she knew that Leilani and Danny were having problems, but she didn't see it affecting the kids. I'm sorry, if you're high on drugs all the time, that does affect your kids.
Drugs and child rearing do not go well together. Neither does boyfriend or birth certificate bingo. And they're playing all the games in that house. Now, where are you at on the Danny situation? Billy thrust him right back into the spotlight. Billy did it. Not Billy, Danny. Dan the man. I think Danny should sit down with Brett Buffington, with WSAV. I'm telling you, he is bound for anything. Uh-oh. He's got the haircut. He's got the name. He's got the clothes. He does great work. I think Danny should sit down with Brett Buffington and give an interview over what really went down that day. Did he send the text? Did he not? How did he find out about the text? When did she tell him she couldn't find Quentin? Did she tell him that Bubba had Quentin? When did the story change to abduction? When did he hear that she blamed Bubba? Sit down and what he can, because some stuff he might have been told not to talk about. I don't know. You know, do it like Nate Eaton style. You know, the way he covered things, well, with Dylan Rounds right now, with Lori Vallow in studio. You know, wear some nice clothes that day, Danny. That's what I think Danny should do.
I agree. I think it would be in his best interest to talk to somebody. I mean, at this point, even the Daily Mail, but I would rather see him talk to somebody like Brett Buffington. But I think we all have that question. Did he know? What time did it happen? He has to know it's a cover-up at this point. He has to. I mean, I feel like he has to know something. Maybe he wasn't directly involved. I don't know. But he knows something.
He does, and so does the brother.
Did he really see him at 6 a.m.? Did he really see him? Or did he just see, like, a blanket in the playpen and he thought he was in there. I mean, any number of things. There's so many questions that he could answer and clear things up for a lot of people.
That's what I want to know. If he sat down and had an interview with someone, like I said, like a Brett Buffington, don't jump on YouTube and get all damn sloppy and not even know what you're being asked, because they just start talking and talking and talking. As an organized interview, I really think it would help, because all the heat is on Billy and Leilani. I don't care. Don't get me wrong. But Danny was there. So was Paul. I think they should speak out.
And was Billy Joe's husband there that day? They haven't really said.
Nope, he was working out of town too.
Jesus. No, I saw a brother was going around talking, but his name was like Michael or something. Leilani's brother.
Yes, last weekend he was basically, he took on the role of the family PR person, and he gave a statement for Leilani. They defended Billy a lot, and he wasn't there. I'm sure from what I'm gathering, he's sickened by the whole thing, but he read a statement from Leilani that just said the FBI are the ones that told her she can't remember. That was the gist of it, my friend.
I mean, I want to hear from somebody that was actually there in the house. Not Leilani or Billy Joe. I want to hear from, like you said, Paul or Danny.
Me too. And I really hope one of them reaches out and sits down, like I said, a controlled interview with Brett Buffington. What happened that day?
Well, any day now I'm waiting for them to say, oh, Danny's the one that took him and got rid of him on his way to work or something like that. Because, we've pushed it off on an abduction. He just walked out and got lost. It was the babysitter. It was Bubba. Now we're on this accident thing. I mean, any day now there's going to be another theory that they're going to throw out there at us.
Well, the other day it was, of course, the bathtub theory. But you don't need to wonder and wait. They've already accused him.
Oh, did they? I missed that. I've been sick, so I've probably missed a lot.
I know, you got sick. Did you ever go to the doctor?
No.
Okay, bad girl.
No.
Well, I told you on the...
Well, I had a phone call doctor appointment. I didn't go in person, but I had a, what do you call it, telehealth thing. So I did get some medicine.
Well, because I told you on our local news, the day that you told me you were sick, and I asked you if you had any apple juice. I said on our local news, they were saying that the local ERs are just all full because of this RSV and the flu's going around early. But anyway, you're feeling better. You got a hamburger and everything, right?
I did. I can eat now. It's great.
That's the best thing. They want everything off of them onto Danny. I say there's enough to go around if he's responsible. Quentin could have very well have been asleep in the crib and him just not know that he was a deceased Quentin.
Exactly. That's what I need to know. Did you just walk by and glance over and see him? Or did you actually interact with him, pat him on the back, adjust his cover, anything like that? Do you know, was he alive when you left?
Mm-hmm. And by the way, I make no excuses for any of them. I just want to know who did what when in there. I know it's going to be a while because you're not going to get the truth out of Leilani. We heard what she had to say the other day when she said, and if something changes, I'll drive myself down to the police station myself. And Billy said, and I'll go with her. Yeah.
Right. No, it's going to be, Casey and Kaylee Anthony all over. We're never going to know really what happened, I don't think. We're not going to know exactly what happened in that house and when. But we'll know who was responsible. Even though, unfortunately, Casey wasn't held responsible in court, hopefully Leilani will be.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years since that verdict now. And I was going, you gave us the perfect segue to get into this. What we're getting ready to watch is 100% what we don't want. Hold on a second. Bear with me.
It's the face that broke America's heart. Mama, Papa. 10 years ago, little Kaylee Anthony was reported missing, launching a saga that ended in one of the most shocking verdicts ever.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Casey Anthony was acquitted of her daughter's murder, but she became a pariah, one of the nation's most despised women. This is 32-year-old Casey Anthony today. She still lives in South Florida. And look, she's got a new tattoo just visible on her shoulder. It appears to cover the infamous tattoo Bella Vita, the beautiful life that she got while partying just 2 weeks after Kaylee had been reported missing. I spoke with lawyer Cheney Mason, who was on her defense team.
It has been a decade since this case. What has changed in that time for Casey?
She's tried to experience some semblance of freedom, but she's never left alone. If she goes out anywhere at all, people will bother her, just like frequently they do me.
Casey opened a photography studio in 2016, but that business has gone bust. She's now working as a researcher for a private detective.
She's very much interested, of course, in investigating criminal cases, is what he does. She does computer research and book research and things to help him.
Her last interview was with Associated Press reporter Josh Rapogel last year, and she was defiant.
I don't give a about what anybody thinks about me. I don't care about that. I never will. I'm okay with myself. I sleep pretty good at night.
She put on a show. She cried. She held her daughter's picture, said, "This is my daughter who I love so much." And I felt like she was telling me what I wanted to hear.
Look closely at this AP photo of Casey Anthony at her home. On the wall, little Kaylee. And that's an ultrasound photo of the child before she was born. Casey's mother, Cindy Anthony, told Inside Edition that she used to keep little Kaylee's room the way it was when she disappeared.
Teddy is holding Kaylee's spot at the picnic table. Mr. Pig always joins us.
Today, Casey has no contact with her parents. Her daughter would be 13 years old if she was alive. Casey Anthony was asked what little Kaylee would be like today.
I told that. I would like to think she'd be listening to classic rock and playing sports and not taking from anybody.
You feel me? That's what we don't want. You want to pick her up on a violation of probation because she hasn't done her community service or whatever for stealing popcorn, have at it. We want this case so ironclad and just she can't get out of it. She can't get out of it.
Well, thank God it didn't happen in Florida, because those Florida juries, you just never know what's going to happen.
I blame
There's
Jeff.
been so many cases down there, man, so many that they just make you sick.
Jeff Ashcroft was such an idiot on that. He charged her way. That's a show for another day. I could go on and on about what an idiot he was. We don't want that. We don't want that.
No.
Because that is exactly what would happen with this case. Leilani would carry on with the, I don't care what anyone thinks, I sleep pretty good at night. Her and Billy would carry on their lives just like they're doing. Let's see what Erica has to say. Erica, what you got?
Holy moly, dude.
Uh-oh.
I was gonna say, like, there is no way. Okay, someone's got an echo.
I think this country girl's life has her YouTube open, maybe. Anyway. Uh-oh. Well, Erica left. That's okay. Do you have your YouTube open?
I just closed it.
Okay. Because I saw a couple people.
Is that better?
Yeah, I don't really hear it on my end. Is it better, guys? All right. Karen said Danny holds the piece to the puzzle. I think he does too. He may not realize it, but I think he definitely does. If Danny has nothing to do with this, I think him and Paul both do, actually.
I would agree with that. On my channel, on my thumbnails, the background is always a puzzle because it's exactly that. Somebody has that missing piece. They just need to start talking.
Mm-hmm. Who else could it be? Danny was there. Danny also left town.
And did you see Billy Joe says he's in North Carolina, not Atlanta?
Yeah. She would do anything to get, well, what's happening outside of their house, she would love for that to happen to him and more. She even said if that text came from her, it could have been someone representing her. I don't know. We get the point. We get the point. The point is, even his mom's work, she said. Even his mom's work. Let's see what Crime Sleuthin has to say. Hello, Crime Sleuthin.
Good morning. You have dropped some bombs. I'm going to have to go back and watch this whole live all over again. Wow. Wow. Good, great information. Maybe somebody in here knows the answer to this because I couldn't get I'm calling it the hearsay media tour. Because that's why they're doing it through YouTube, through a friend, through the family, and then through a friend, because it's double hearsay and it can never be brought up in court. Yet this is their way to sway a possible jury, get their little narrative out there, and they're controlling the information. So that's why they're doing it. But I was able to get a couple of questions out, supposedly, to the grandma. Who knows if that's really her? But they figured out that I actually know what I'm talking about with the guardianship. And it was kind of funny, the reaction. But they clam up really quick if you know what you're talking about. And I actually have guardianship of my grandchildren, have for 7 years. And I have all my documentation and everything. And I offered to show it. And I said, I want to see actual documentation because Billy Joe claims that she was unaware of a CPS involvement at the time, correct? I have the documentation that indicates that that's a huge lie. She actually signed off that she signed CPS documents at the time. There was CPS involvement at the time, but she still doubles down saying that she didn't know anything about any CPS involvement.
That's not a secret to anybody except her, and it's not a secret to her. She's just trying to act dumb. She knows better.
Right. And I'm thinking that she didn't even have guardianship because when I asked the question, I asked, did you do the guardianship on your own or did you hire an attorney? She didn't answer the question. She said, oh, I did the guardianship on my own. It wasn't court ordered. And I'm like, that's not the question. If you had guardianship, you would have understood what I just asked. So
yeah, I think that kind of got cleared up when the previous babysitter was on here. It didn't take too long to connect those dots that there was really no surprise, no secret, no signature required. It was almost an emergency.
Yeah. So, but that makes me wonder about her culpability. Because I know that under guardianship, like I am fully legally responsible for my grandchildren. For everything, as if I am their legal birth parent. I can sign for whatever for them. When you have CPS, like kinship placement, which is what it appears that she had, everything has to be cleared through CPS. They have a very strict rules that they have to go by. It would actually be different and better for her if it was guardianship, legally speaking, because then she could make those rules. She could have said, yeah, Leilani could stay here. You know what I mean? But under CPS, which is what I believe she still had, she's in bigger trouble than y'all even think under guardianship. Because that's some major charges right there. They're never allowed to do that. But under a guardianship, there are also rules that I have to go by. as well. And
Yeah, a
one of
friend
them
of
is to not
mine-
have the bio parents around.
That's a friend of there's actually a couple friends of mine are raising their grandkids right now, and it's under no uncertain terms that they can use mom or dad, however, as a babysitter. It's nothing like that. But I got to bring Erica up now. She was actually in front of you, but I appreciate you coming up. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Erica, did you get connected?
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on.
I was trying to fix the echo, but it wasn't on my end.
Oh, that's okay. I think Country Girl got it figured out. So on the screen, I put up, Karen said, Danny holds the piece of the puzzle. That's what we're right now talking about. Of course, it can change in a second. What do you think?
I want to hear from Danny.
I do too.
I want to hear from Danny. I want to hear from Paul. I want to hear from everybody.
Except Billy and Leilani. I'm done hearing from them. While it might be dramatic and entertaining, it's not getting us anywhere. Those two, I would love to sit down. Not me, per se. Like I said, a Brett Buffington, something, someone like that. What would you ask, Erica?
Like, I would ask, what in the world were you doing? Why didn't you check to see if he was breathing, maybe?
Him leaving town isn't so much of a surprise to me. It does surprise me that he didn't take his daughter with him, particularly if he's going to his mom's house. Anyone else have a thought on that?
I would honestly ask him, just take me through the night before and take me through that morning up until you left.
Mm-hmm.
Just, from the time Quentin and the other kids got home from the babysitter, just tell me what happened.
Or even days leading up to. What was the arrangement when Billy left to go out of town? Was it, because we just have, I see rumors because the stories seem to change all the time. So was it set up that Diana was watching the children overnight and then it got switched? What was the arrangement when Billy left?
And what happened what morning that changed the routine? Why that particular morning did the routine change?
Yes.
Yep.
What about fake nanny? Did you hear anything about fake nanny? Did you hear anything about Mary Poppins that was supposed to start that morning? And although it's hard to imagine, if you ask him, did you actually see Quentin, or did you just see a blanket with a child under it? I don't know.
Exactly, because even if he just touched his back or anything, he would have felt cold, hard. You'd be able to tell.
Yep. For something here, digging through my notes. You girls go ahead. Oh, really important. So I was about to shit a brick the other day because Court TV said they had spoke to Diana and that the text came from Leilani, not Danny. Well, because people that pay attention, like you guys, reached out to Court TV. They corrected it last night. And they said, no, the text came from Danny. So, Danny, you can leave town. You cannot answer the phone. All the stuff to stay out and under the radar. That text came from his phone. Now, through the grapevine, through the grapevine, it was said he wasn't aware that a text was even sent until the police told him, but that he did call Diana to ask where Quentin was. Do you guys believe that?
Well, my true crime brain says that we don't know who sent the text from his phone. I mean, if I'm sending you a message, Brooks, you assume it's from me, right? But it could have been my husband, it could have been my daughter with my phone sending you a message.
Right.
I'm thinking pretty much the same thing.
And I mean, we've seen it in other cases where, I hate to bring him up, but Brian Laundrie sent messages from Gabby's phone.
Oh, yeah. And I don't even know how, of course, I don't do this type of work, how the police would even be able to prove who it really came from, unless she had her phone in her pocket and grabbed his, and they could figure out that she simultaneously, I don't know how they would. Probably just the shock he had when he went, I didn't send her any text. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Where Summer said, what man really goes over there and puts, yeah, nobody would blame Danny for not checking for his pulse. But you glance over, you see a child sleeping in the pack and play, and then you say, I saw him at 6 a.m. You're not going to expect him to say, and I also made sure he was breathing. I woke him up to make sure he was talking. You know, I made sure he was alive before he left. That would be suspect as you know what.
Right, but I mean, I can see, I know that wasn't his child, but he's in this child's life. And I know if I had to work early in the morning when my kids were that size, sometimes I would go over and just kind of, like rub their back, to say bye or whatever. Not necessarily making sure they're still breathing or checking their pulse or anything like that, but just kind of like a loving gesture, just, But maybe he's not like that.
Well, and then I heard that it was a big deal that he was late for work that morning. Then I heard it's not a big deal because he has gotten in trouble for being late to work often, which that makes more sense to me.
Well, if he was running late, then yeah, he probably just did go dash by this playpen, glance over and see, yep, he's in there and out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're running late, your mind's like all over the place. And if you're in a rush, you're just gonna glance and be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw him.
This is what I heard, Arlene, that after the text was sent, again, this is rumors, this is the rumor mill, you know how the rumor mill is, that he wasn't aware of the text and that the text was deleted right after it was sent. I don't know. Most people, when they send a text and then they delete it right after, there's a big reason for it. I've got texts in my phone from a year ago. I don't even remember sending. That text supposedly was deleted. That's pretty suspicious because there's no reason for Danny to cover up telling the babysitter not to show up that day if that's what happened.
But it would make sense for Leilani to send it and then immediately delete it.
There you go.
Absolutely.
But it'll still show up if they subpoena the phone records, because in Debbie Collier's case, they found that she sent that I love you text to her son, but it never went through. So if they get the phone records, it'll show up. But it still doesn't prove who sent it.
They don't even need the phone records. They had Diana telling them, I mean, shit, the police showed up as Diana was trying to leave. Diana had already told them they don't even need phone records. I mean, of course, they're going to get them. They're probably waiting on extensive phone records right now. She told them, I thought it was weird. She told the police not the police, WSAV that night. She was talking to them, talking to the media, and she said, I got a text that morning from Danny saying that they didn't need me that day.
That's true. They'd still have her side of it because she didn't delete hers, so.
Oh, hell no. She's going to keep that till the day she dies.
She's got everything. She's got the pictures of the bruises and all of that. I mean, that woman's got receipts.
She has got it all. So I'm going to go through the court TV thing real quick because there was some other interesting things. Hold on real quick. I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but they do kind of a timeline rundown, but they do correct, and she says a couple of other things, that it was Danny that sent it. That doesn't mean Danny the person, Danny physically. That means it came from Danny's phone. I'm just so glad that they corrected this because I was furious about that.
October 5th and kind of work through the timeline of all of this, because we have gotten some information released in this case. What do we know about the timeline of October 5th?
And then I'm actually going to back it up just a little bit and start with October 4th, when the babysitter of this little boy told us she saw him at 4 o'clock that afternoon. So the next day, we know from police, but also from that babysitter. Here's a look at a timeline. At 5:39 in the morning, there was a text that the babysitter received about her services not being needed, that there were other arrangements that were going to be made about where Quentin would be. I clarified that with her today. She said that text was actually from Danny Youngkin, the boyfriend of Leilani Simon, Quentin's mother, would also be the father of Quentin's younger sibling. Then around 6 o'clock is what we have on this timeline, because police say and confirmed in their press conference that Danny Youngkin told them that he did see Quentin in his bed, sleep at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then less than 3 hours later, 9:39 a.m. is when that 911 call was made to police about him being missing. And less than 3 hours after that, Chatham County Police, who were already investigating at that point, they say they were able to mobilize the FBI because they were told that this might be an abduction case. So that's why they were able to get the FBI here so quickly. October 12th, so a week after that, law enforcement then informed the family that they believe Quentin is deceased, and also said that Leilani Simon, his mother, was their prime suspect. They didn't name other people, but also didn't make an arrest or any charges in the case at this point. October 18th is when the search of that landfill began, and that, of course, is still continuing to this day.
Okay, so I want to go back to what you said at the beginning, because that's kind of new for me. So the actual text message to the babysitter comes from not Leilani's phone, but from the boyfriend's phone?
Correct. That is something that I had to clarify myself, because it did have to do with the son of Leilani Simon, but she told me that.
No shit, idiot. That's the reason on the show the other day I was coming unglued. I said there is a huge difference between, because she said he saw the text. Anyway, they cleared that up. Diana cleared it up. I love when she said, because I had to clear that up because you got 1,000,005 emails, lady.
It was actually Danny who sent that message to her at 5:39 in the morning. So that may have been around the same time, the 6 o'clock time, that he told police that he did see him. But the nature of that text was, we're not going to need you to take care of Quentin, that he would be with his mom in the morning.
And so from that timeline, it's not clear if Leilani was up at that time in the morning, or if she woke up for the first time, sometime around 9 or so before the call to 911.
Not clear. We don't know much about that from police, but I do know from talking to the babysitter. And the reason we're not naming her, she said that she does not want to be continually named in the media because she has received threats. But this is something that we spoke with her directly about. And she said that it was around 9 that she first got the call asking if she knew where Quentin was. And she actually crossed the street. Her house is not too far from here. She has her own memorial set up in front of her house. She made her way over to the house to help search, but she said she didn't go inside. She was searching around the property, and that she was the one. This is what she told us, is that she suggested that 911 be called, and that's when the call was made to police, because they were unable to find him and thought that he may have been wandering around in this neighborhood.
Wow. So again, a much clearer picture tonight of the scene that morning, which is significant. How do people react initially to what's happening? It's not clear if Leilani is text messaging, if she's up at that time. But the babysitter is called. The babysitter comes across the street, comes over. They're looking outside. Okay. Let's get back to Leilani. Now, I understand that you reached out to Leilani today.
Oh, I've been reaching out to Leilani for days now. We've tried every avenue that we can. Of course, it is difficult because they are very leery of anyone coming onto their property because of all of the commotion that's been here every night. But we've sent messages, we've called, we've left a note there on the door, and we did ultimately hear from a family friend, someone who indicated that they are reluctant to speak further, especially with this investigation going on, but mentioned that the friend feels that there needs to be more of a discussion about other possible suspects. They feel that there are other suspects in this case who aren't being focused on. Of course, we know what police have revealed is only one name, but with them saying prime suspect, there's also the possibility that there are other suspects who are not their prime suspect, but that is the name that has been released by police.
And obviously, we cover trials all the time, and we know that, police are supposed to follow all the leads and then see where the evidence takes them, not focus in on one person and not look anywhere else. And that seems to be what we're hearing from Leilani's camp. And there's like lights behind you. I saw, are they shining lights on Quentin's house, on Leilani's house, the mother's house tonight, the folks that are showing up there? Or are the lights going? Because I kind of saw a spotlight floating behind you just a short time ago.
Oh, those might be our lights, Vinny. Not sure about lights that may be coming in, but it's possible.
There
are
it is.
candles.
There's the light.
They have
It's going
set
again.
out candles. Oh, that is someone. Yep, that is someone who has a flashlight, and they are shining that onto the house. I can see that now. There are candles there on the ground that they've put down. So you have this contrast of a vigil, really, for a little baby. You have all of the stuffed toy animals. There was a woman today who stopped me. She was driving by with her kids, and she said, are we allowed to put down stuffed animals of flowers because my children want to? And we know the family has said that they welcome people to pay respects, but not to insult their family or to do some of the things that they're hearing from the chanting outside. So really two different types of remembrances going on here for a little boy who you'd think both sides of this fence, of this line here, the no trespassing line, both sides wanting more answers.
No, there's only one side wanting answers, and that's the people that are not inside the house. The people inside the house, I believe Billy, when she was talking outside the garage door, her and Leilani, when Billy said, we hope he's not found in that landfill. Now then, what she really meant, and I'm going to help her fix it, what she meant was, we hope he's not found. She's not dumb. She's not dumb by any means. She knows that without Quentin, it's going to be much, much harder to prosecute Leilani. Either way, what Billy's not understanding is her leaving Quentin alone with Leilani when she knew that Leilani was not fit. She knew that. We know the end result because they're looking for Quentin, whether he's found in the landfill or not. They know that Quentin is missing. She's part of that end result. She's culpable. She knows that, and she knows she can get in trouble. And I guarantee that eats at her so bad. I guarantee that eats at her so bad. Or unmuted you guys, because that way there was an echo. So I was trying to do as I could while I was playing.
Yeah, actually, my mom's here right now.
Well, tell your mom hi. Tell her to grab the link. Is she a sub?
No, she's not.
Well, you better check that, Erica.
So I'm going to pop off here and talk to Mom before she's got to go to work.
All right, tell your mom hi. I'll see you over in Discord. All right. I think they're getting more confident as time goes on that they're not finding Quentin. This is not bothering them. I do believe that the protesters are driving them insane. That's okay. Now, one thing, and I saw this in chat, we talked about it in Discord, but we haven't talked about it in here. At 4 months old, Sky is a little baby. Who gets up and down throughout the night to feed Sky? Paul, Danny, or Leilani? Because it's not Zane or Quentin.
Right. I saw that comment. How did she sleep without having to get up and feed the baby?
Mm-hmm.
The baby.
Yeah. She said she saw Quentin at 1:45 a.m. when she was going to bed. And he was fine, I believe, is what she said. Of course, she's not going to say anything different. And then she turned in for the night. So between, let's say it took her till 2 o'clock to get settled down, and she sleeps. So she gets up at 9 a.m. So 7 hours. Somebody had to feed Sky. That would be something very interesting if Danny would do an interview.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guarantee if he fed the baby before he went to work, it's going to need to eat again before 9, probably, at that age.
Mm-hmm. It's been a very long time since I've had a newborn. I don't remember at what month my kids started sleeping all the way through the night. At 4 months old, did any of your children sleep through the night? Jules said hers did.
It's been too long for me to remember.
I really hope they weren't given Sky NyQuil. I don't know. UFC, you were backstage and I lost you. If you want to grab the link. Okay, Laverne said hers did. Some people are like, look, my kid didn't start sleeping through the night till they were 18. Okay, so.
My 18-year-old doesn't sleep through the night.
Blue Eyes said, now they try to put out there that he may have drowned in the bathtub. Yeah. Billy has been trying to sell that. It's absolutely ridiculous because what they don't answer is why are they searching the landfill? Well, then where is Quentin? If he drowned in the bathtub on October 5th, then you should have been having a funeral service on the 7th, 8th, or 9th. Why are they searching the landfill? And that would be terrible. That would be heartbreaking. When Bubba says to to Billy, when he says to her, well, then they should have called the police. Billy doesn't even say, yeah, you're right. Stupid asses. I could kill him. I can't believe they did this. She didn't even say that. She just says, well, when you're high as hell, you do stupid shit.
Well, and if it was at 2 o'clock in the morning when this child died, what happened between 2 and 9?
Mm-hmm.
What did they do with him?
Mm-hmm. Why is bath time at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, I'm not buying the bathtub story.
No. The best bet we have is that they're going to find Quentin and they're going to figure out what happened to him. And these two are going to implode.
Oh, absolutely, and I can't wait.
Hang on. Jinbug said Billy Joe knows the bathtub story is a lie. Who gives a bath at 2 a.m. in the morning? That's exactly right. Who gives a bath at 2 in the morning? And especially since they're saying that Danny was the one that was giving the bath. Why would Danny be giving him a bath at 2 o'clock in the morning? None of it makes sense. Then I heard that she said Leilani was cooking, slaving away, being Susie homemaker, playing house because Billy's out of town, and that Danny was bathing the children. And as he took Zane out. Well, I don't know. Did he forget that Quentin was in the bathtub? Don't forget, Quentin is 20 months old. Quentin can walk, crawl, sit up. I'm not saying that kids don't drown in the bathtub. I'm not saying that at all. And just in that instant, basically, Quentin drowns. Quentin drowns. No. And again, Billy was not there. Billy was not there. Billy has to have this be an accident because she knows that at some point she's going to have to answer for this. She's going to have to answer for this.
No, she's definitely trying to cover her own butt.
It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Well, I'm glad Court TV corrected their boo-boo. I am, because that is such a huge mistake to make, for them to say that the text came from Leilani. I believe the text came from Leilani, but we know it came from Danny's phone, according to Diana.
No, I totally believe it was her that sent it.
Slim said, I wonder if Zane is potty trained. I wonder myself. He would have had to have potty trained himself. He'd just have to get it one day. I don't see Leilani working with a child and teaching them to use the potty.
Unless Diana was potty training them.
That would make more sense. Adria said you didn't even give time to type that out. Who's calling who a liar? What's going on? Adria, what happened?
I don't know. I must have missed it.
I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch the replay. I'm going to have to. Well, on all of this, though, and everything we put together and how we've heard all this stuff before. There's no new sins. But these people are finding new ways to cause. They're definitely putting on a good mystery. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, and they're not helping their situation. They're egging on the protesters by dancing in the windows and talking to them over the fence and arguing with them. And I mean, they're not helping themselves at all.
Mm-hmm.
Going out to Tybee Island and making asses out of themselves.
Yep. Linda said,
they know what they're doing is going to make people mad, but they're doing it anyway because they don't care.
Well, they are. They're purposely making people mad. They're taunting. They're confident. They weren't that confident a while ago, but they're super confident now. I think that they really think, kind of like Dawn and Candace, when Dawn would say they're never going to find her. When Candace said they're not going to find her there.
Well, I sure hope they can find Quentin, because I can't stand to see those two continue to act the way they've been acting. It just needs to stop.
It certainly does. And Jetta, I almost forgot. Jetta had to remind me. Besides all of the nonsense, the insanity plea. Don't forget, the weekend after he went missing, so he went missing on a Wednesday. By that weekend, Billy was already talking about mental illness. We've heard about postpartum, bipolar, untreated bipolar. They're going to throw everything they can till it sticks. I don't think it's going to work. I just don't think it's going to work.
No, and just by the number of stories they're putting out there, they're just throwing shit at the wall at this point to see what sticks. If somebody latches onto something and says, oh yeah, that's it, then that's the way they're going to go.
They are following YouTube. They're following Facebook, any social media they can get on. It's pretty bizarre the way that they are just saying stuff that we have said. Not us particularly, but just sort of collectively as the true crime community, they're picking up on and they're trying to use it to their advantage. And it's an epic fail. It is an epic fail.
Yeah, I brought that up yesterday. It's like they're grabbing onto bits and pieces of social media, of the news media, of the protesters, things that they're hearing people say, like the whole, oh, I hope somebody just thought they were his savior that couldn't have a child and they wanted a child and that's why they took him. There's been protesters out there on the news saying, I can't have kids and this breaks my heart. And then all of a sudden, Leilani is like, oh, that must be it. Somebody that couldn't have a kid came and took him.
Mm-hmm.
Like every day it changes. Every day it's something different.
Panthera said, wait, hold up. I actually am understanding why Billy had Leilani with her at Tybee. I'd rather have my daughter in my eyesight at all times rather than allowing her alone. I thought about that myself because I thought I wouldn't let her out of my sight because I would make sure she's not going to run off. She's going to answer for this. I think they just kind of took it to a whole new level. All of this Patron and you know what else that they can get a hold of.
Yeah, I mean, I get keeping your eye on her, but you have to go out to a bar and make asses of yourselves, flirting with people and getting drunk and loud and all that. I mean, they take everything too far.
Phone numbers. I mean, this is, they're sending this message to Danny, who leaves his girlfriend, who throws her under the bus. What do you mean Danny's throwing her under the bus? The police are saying the evidence points that way, not, hey, yeah, Danny told us, so we're just going with what he said.
Yeah, he's not out there doing interviews and pointing fingers at her. He's just not talking at all.
Imagine how freaked out he was, and I'm not sympathizing with Danny. Don't think that for a minute, because I got some issues with him. Imagine how freaked out he was, though, if this is a true story. This story doesn't seem to be changing yet. When they said, but you sent a message to Diana telling her not to come over. Don't you think he was like, what? No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, you did. It came from your phone. I bet that is when it started to crumble. PJ Jones said, Paul's name does not come up very much. Very odd, in my opinion. It is very odd. We need to know more about Paul. What the hell was Paul doing? I mean, everything leads towards Leilani, according to the police. All the evidence is leading towards her. She's the prime suspect. It doesn't mean that nobody else is ever going to be a suspect because this investigation is very, very, very new. It's not even a month old.
Yeah, they said that she's their only suspect right now. That doesn't mean that there won't be more to come. Because him being in the house, he could be an accessory. He could be culpable somehow. And Billy Joe, for sure, she's going to get something out of this. Definitely.
I think so, too. I wonder how close are Leilani and Paul. Somebody had to have helped Leilani, and I'm sorry to say it this way, clean up. Leilani doesn't seem like a real do-it-yourselfer type of person. Somebody had to help her clean up.
Oh yeah, she's definitely not a criminal mastermind that would know how to get rid of evidence. I don't see that.
No. Not at all. It's disgusting. I've had it with them. You can see from 500 miles away what they're doing. And what it is is the more they say it, someone's going to believe it, but it's not going to be law enforcement because they don't care. They need the evidence. The evidence is pointing towards Leilani. They keep saying Danny, 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 Danny. That doesn't make him guilty. Doesn't make him innocent, doesn't make him not culpable.
No, but like somebody had brought up before, the comment you put up about the insanity plea and all that, them throwing this stuff out there, they're hoping, I think, to taint the jury pool and plant reasonable doubt. Well, he was in the house. He, you know, I think that they're trying to make it look like, you know, Diana had a key to the house. So if and when it goes to court, they're going to say, well, it could have been this person. It could have been that person. They had access to him as well. And I think they're hoping that people are going to buy into it.
And as of right now, let's say they grab her, they charge her with murder. Her attorney already can drive a Mack truck through this case because there's 2 other people in the house. There's 2 other people there. Hey, Mama Goats, I see you. Mama Goats, turn your camera off and I'll bring you up. How are you doing, hun?
I'm good. How are you? I'm just cleaning, doing my morning chores and listening to you. I got my earbuds in. Okay, so what happens? This is just my opinion and just listening to everybody this morning. So what happens if they get the baby to sleep that night, the older one's watching movies, and they put Quentin in the bathtub? The mom says to Bubba, well, you know how you get when you're all high. Maybe they were giving him a bath the night before. They were so high they passed out. The next morning, they find him. I mean, maybe she wasn't giving him a bath at 2:00 in the morning, but although we know that that uppers are involved, but I mean, why would they be giving a 2-year-old, a 20-month-old, a bath at 2 a.m.? Although addicts, there is no rhyme or reason. But if they were that high and they gave them a bath, say at 10 or 11 o'clock, and they were so high they passed out, and they didn't think about them until they woke back up.
Then they need, if that's what happened, then they need to say something and put an end to all this. They really do. I don't think that I
agree.
They need to put an end to all this then. Danny or her. I've just never heard of a case where there was an accident and it was covered up. Accidents are accidents. It still doesn't answer my question, which Billy can't answer it because she wasn't there. Leilani won't touch it because she says the FBI told her she can't remember. Why are they searching the landfill? Who would think in their right mind to put a child in a dumpster?
I think maybe his clothes are in that dumpster. That went in that dumpster. I don't think he's in that dumpster. I think he's someplace else.
So you think they undressed him? They put the
he was in the bathtub. He wouldn't have clothes on.
Oh, okay.
They could take the dirty clothes. Went to the dumpster. They could have dumped him. And Danny could have picked him up and took him some other place, or whoever. He wouldn't have clothes on, though.
Well, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, Billy says, she was giving him a bath at 2:00 in the morning. Well, he wouldn't have clothes on.
Well, Billy wasn't there either. And I just go off of what law enforcement is saying, that the dogs picked up on his scent, not his live scent, but that the dogs are cadaver dogs that can differentiate between cleanup materials and actual human remains.
That's true.
And they had to justify bringing in specialists from Quantico to start going through it inch by inch.
Okay, so he's in the bathtub at nighttime. They don't have his clothes on him. He's in the bathtub. They're wasted. They pass out. And again, this is hypothetical speaking. I'm just this is just speculation. But he's in the bathtub. They're both so high. They pass out. And then when whoever comes to, They pull them out. I don't know. Maybe they grab the clothes to dry them off. God knows what they did after that. But we're talking about people who are criminals. I mean, this isn't their, it's not their first rodeo. I mean, I wish I don't have the answers. I mean, again, I'm just a mom, a mama who's cleaning house, listening to true crime on a Friday morning. But, I'm just,
it's just so frustrating with these two.
It is so frustrating.
I mean, we all want the answers so bad, and we're discussing between us, and it's just nothing makes sense because sadly, accidents happen at home
every day.
And it's horrible. But people try to get help. They try to get help. And I'm still trying to find a case somewhere. It's not going to be a mainstream case. It's not going to be a case from the headlines that grabs our attention like the ones that we discuss. There's got to, and I can't find one anywhere where a child had an accident at home and the parents went to great measure to cover up said accident. I can't find it.
Great measures to cover it up. I mean, yeah, I've been searching. I can't find anything to even make heads or tails of this. This is the most, but I mean, I don't know if you addicts are like that. I can see her not remembering if she is as high as mom is saying. I mean, unfortunately, I do have a son who has a drug addiction. We were very involved parents and grandparents, and he didn't get his kid. If I noticed that he was a binge addict. And
in Casey Anthony's case, do you remember Dr. G when she testified how many drownings in pools there are every year?
Mm-hmm. That go unreported.
Right. But there's so many times, like you said, people drown in bathtubs, but you call for help.
Right.
And no, we don't hear about those because people
do the right thing.
Yeah, I've talked about that testimony quite a few times on this show. And Dr. G was so mad because Jose Baez was really pressing her. And she was furious. She said, she's like, I'm in Florida. And she said, I have done thousands of autopsies on children who have accidentally drowned. Never once have I performed an autopsy on a child where it was an accident that was covered up.
Right.
Never. She said, even crack cocaine addicted mothers will call 911 for help.
And I agree with that. If it was just a simple accident, I think anybody would just call for help.
Right.
If it was truly just a simple accident, I can't wrap my mind around it. I just can't. That's why I feel like something else happened. Maybe the NyQuil thing or, something. There had to be something more to it for them to want to cover it up bad.
Yeah. I mean, as far as we know, he might not have even been nowhere near the bathtub. We only know he was near the bathtub because that's what mom said.
Well,
our grandma said.
Yeah, and Billy wasn't even there. That's
right.
Crazy. Steve, you had a bunch of background noise, so I muted you. Did you get your background noise taken care of?
As far as I know.
That's okay. How's it going, my friend?
It's going crazy, and it's crazy in this world.
Well, thankfully that the cases that we talk about are mainly mysteries, if you know what I mean. Most crime is taken care of a lot faster and not insane. So what do you think about this case?
Well, I was just sitting here thinking, and I 100% believe that Leilani is responsible for the death of that child. But I was sitting here thinking more about Danny. He's done gone away now. There's rumors he's been in Atlanta. He's in North Carolina, South Carolina. To the best of my knowledge, if you're a suspect, you cannot leave the state.
He's not a suspect.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so what if he did spill the beans. And with Leilani's history of violence and so on, he's somewhere for his own protection.
It's possible. I mean,
You
to
know?
get up. Well, I mean, like Danny, just you get up and you just leave. You never go back. You don't worry about your daughter. You don't worry about nothing. You just get up. You're going to go to work, and you never come back. Like, isn't
Well, his daughter is no longer there. She's in foster care, so she's safe.
that exactly, absolutely, 100%. Hey Brooks, I'm just going through chat here because I do have Paula Volter. I think it was Paula. There's a part of me too that thinks that this was a revenge. Part of me wants to believe that mom was very jealous. I think her and mom was jealous of the relationship maybe with the grandma. And
a lot of people have had that theory based on the Casey Anthony, because it came out much, much later that, Casey was extremely jealous of her mom doting over Kaylee. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I'm just saying, I mean, in my heart, when I really look inside to go, what do I really think? I really think, and I hope, I hope they really find this little boy, and maybe she sold him. I hope they find him alive, well, happy, in a good home. Unfortunately, that's probably like a 1%er. But I do believe in my heart of heart, it was a revenge killing. That the grandmother showed that when she went over to the babysitter's house and she said, you failed me, you did this, you did that. She, that the babysitter knew. I think that there's some, I think that it could have possibly been a revenge unaliving.
My big question is, though, there's 3 kids. Why Quentin?
Because the grandmother, that was grandma's favorite, obviously. That's who, I mean, it wasn't he the only one that she had, that grandma had protective, that was with.
No, she had custody of Zane as well, I think.
Yeah, she had Zane and Quentin. But that's one thing, supposedly, Quentin was the one that Billy doted on more. And it's just a theory. We don't know. We're just discussing here.
Right.
Exactly. It's just it's speculation. I'm just thinking out loud. But when I watched grandma go into the babysitter's house and say that, I mean, you didn't get that out of mom, but you got that out of grandma. But mom sure the hell didn't say that. She's not even going to go look for him. She's not even going to call the police.
She can't even produce a tear.
No.
Then I can't figure out why either one of them, Lonnie and Billy, why either one of them were so offended. We didn't hear from Leilani, but we knew with Billy that anybody would think to use up their ink and print out flyers and hang them up.
Disgusting.
Why would that be a problem?
Yeah, why wouldn't you be out there at, if he's seen him at 6, and again, maybe Danny did walk by. He did see, my kids slept with a little sheet over their head, partially. I mean, I'm not going to say that he didn't walk by and see a bump. I mean, and go to, start to go to work, even though he was late. I don't know. I think I would be following his tracks. Like, how did he get to work? Which way did he drive? They're just awful confident that they are not going to find that baby. And in my heart, I think that it was revenge against the mom. I think there's so much animosity and hatred and love, that hate relationship between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And a mom who's so high. I would not. A part of me wants to believe that the mom would hurt that baby because of the grandma. And grandma has made it that where the babysitter is going to keep him, and mom's thinking, no, I should keep him.
I imagine it was, well, we've sat on here for, well, since we've been talking about little Quentin since October 6th, basically. We've been saying that they have such a toxic, dysfunctional, they're drinking buddies. They act like friends one minute, they act like sisters another minute. Then Billy wants to play mom. I'm the one that supports the household. What I say goes. Well, it doesn't work that way with Leilani. It doesn't work that way. And it's such a toxic rinse, repeat cycle. Just
Yes.
the eviction that everyone talks about. Well, how can she evict kids she has custody of? Well, we know she can't, but she does all this. She goes to all these measures. She fills it out. She makes sure Leilani knows about it. She lets it get as far as to where they come to the house and they serve Leilani in order, as Billy said, to light a fire under her. And this was because they had had an argument over the washing machine the day before. That was on September 7th. September 8th is when she does the eviction.
And Judy McGuire in chat says, if Danny is completely innocent, why did he leave his baby in that environment?
That's what I want to know. Why did he do that?
What dad would just walk away and leave their child in that type of... He ran. He didn't walk away. He ran.
And I get that he doesn't have his own place because let's face it, his name is on the eviction as well. Leilani Simon is 22 years old, her boyfriend and their 3 kids. I don't want to be compensated. I want him out. Nobody's living in peace. They're tearing up my stuff. Billy's very detailed in what's going on. She's very detailed in what's going on. She wants them out of her hair. How dare you argue with me over the washing machine and everything else going on? Get them the hell out. Get them the hell out. So Danny does not have his own place to live. He's flopping there for free as well. So he has to go to somewhere else where he can flop for free. So I understand it's going to be hard to take a little baby with you because you have nowhere to put a bassinet, diapers, a bed for her to lay in. That part of it I get. But since he's with his mom in North Carolina now, he needs to be going through everything he can with the state of Georgia to get his daughter out of foster care and with him.
But if he ran to his mom's house, why wouldn't he why wouldn't he take that baby to his mom's house where, I mean.
Something is weird going on there because you would think that would be the first, step. Unless mom is like, I never liked her. I told you something bad was going to happen. Don't call me when that woman does this, or this that she's done to the other guys. I don't know. But he didn't go straight to his mom's house. He went to Hotlanta and was on Twitter with these friends playing pool. That was where he went. And now supposedly he's in North Carolina.
Well, probably because he was trying to be, like, well, if a person didn't do it, then I wouldn't feel guilty. I mean, I left. That place is crazy. But I wouldn't have left without my daughter. I don't care if I would have had to stay in a hotel. I mean, obviously he had a job.
You and me both. I wouldn't leave my kids behind.
Hell no.
And like we say in all
even if you're trying to distance yourself from the madness that is this case, you would take your child out of there before something happens to that baby.
Yes. Yeah, you wouldn't leave that baby there.
I mean, you and me both, but in every one of these cases, we sit there and say, well, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that.
Right.
And then we realize, well, we're talking about scum of the earth people.
We're not those people. We are not those
we're normal.
People.
We don't think that way. Our brains don't function like that.
I mean, we all screw up. We have something, we always have something that, probably don't, embarrassing, something that we didn't do. We've all had our not so proud moment, but these are scum of the earth people.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious. I don't want to get into the kids' lives so much, if you know what I mean, because I think little Zane and little Sky, I hope none of this ever affects them. I hope there's no mean kid in school that's like, I Googled your family. I heard what your mom did.
Right.
I would change their names.
I'm sure, I was thinking that too. And I was in another group one day and they were talking about it. You would think that they would put those kids on some sort of protective services, not necessarily just foster care, but literally protecting them. Not that a foster parent wouldn't, but I mean, I'm in St. Louis, and as a hairstylist, I have had clients who were social workers, and they're overworked.
Hey, I used to live by St. Louis. We were stationed at Scott Air Force Base.
Oh yeah, that's just about 50 minutes from me.
Yep.
I'm right on the Illinois-Missouri border.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in St. Louis while we were there.
Well, thank you for your service or your husband's service. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, my husband and now my sons.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, it baffles me.
Well,
Absolutely.
and there's this too. It's just not, nothing in this world except for on the internet. Everything's a click away on the internet. But one thing that has not changed and has not, caught up with technology is the courts, law enforcement, and things like that. Okay, so like where Summer said, you can't just take a kid, even though it's his child, believe it or not, because from what I'm understanding, he's not on the birth certificate. So a judge would have to hear it.
Okay, so how do they know that Bubba is his dad? Did they do a DNA test?
Yes.
They did. Yeah,
Okay.
after this happened, he said that they did one to prove that he was Quentin's dad.
Okay.
And
I thought I heard that, but I wasn't certain.
And I phrased that wrong. If Danny is truly Sky's father, he has every right to his child. Okay. But this is what really is confusing to me, that when push came to shove, they would rather those children in foster care than with their own fathers. Why was Cody not a good candidate to take care of his son Zane? Instead, they're with strangers.
See, I wondered that too. What's going on with the dads that they would rather put them in foster care than keep them with a biological parent?
Yeah.
Or
there's got to be something.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, like you said, Mama Goots, it's, the grandparents are always an option.
Exactly. But Brooks, I have to make a comment because I have a granddaughter who is 16. She'll be 15 and 3/4. I haven't seen her since she's been 2.5. Not because we didn't go to court, not because of trying to get visitation. It was denied. 11 months into it, a lot of money, and we never even got a DNA test. That mama came knocking on my door to tell me that her daughter was pregnant. It was a miracle. But we never got to, if I wanted to see him or my son wanted to see him, we had to go to their house. So we went for 4 hours on a Sunday. So if we're a good family. I mean, I'd give you my name. You could look up everything and anything.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
But it's not always that easy. But if you have something to hide, then you wouldn't want to fight for custody. But I sure the hell is not that I was fighting for custody. She is in good hands. At the end of that court case, we walked away with a big bill, and she'll be 18 in just a couple years, and then I will reach out to her. I have pictures of her. Her mom brought her here. We were at the birth of the baby. I mean, so we had showers. I was invited to their shower. I invited them to our shower. But they wouldn't. They came and said, "Oh no, he's not the dad." Okay, well, let's take a DNA because She looks just like him.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I hope every single day, because everybody goes, she looks just like me when I was younger. And I'm like, I hope every day she looks at that baby girl. I hope every day she sees my face. I hope she sees my son's face.
Oh, wow.
And there was no way I was, people were like, I would have kept fighting. I would have showed up at the door. No, I will wait. There was one thing that the grandmother said to somebody that came back to me. And I said, that is not going to happen. I have 2 sons. I have a husband. I have all brothers. That woman is not going to say that somebody touched that little girl. I'm not going to give her that opportunity, because that is what she told somebody she would do if we didn't back off.
Do you see this comment on the screen from Paula?
I don't. Let me see.
This is comment of the day. Oh, please. Any man that would be in a relationship with Leilani is not better than her. That's why.
Paula wins the internet today.
Paula, you win the internet today.
I want to say Paula has had some great comments through this whole conversation.
Paula, where have you been all my life? 'Cause that sums it up.
I think I read 2 of her comments out loud, because
That's exactly it. And I really hope, considering what's going on, I'm saying this mildly, that neither Billy or Leilani and Danny, because Danny was there, we have not heard anyone say, hey, Danny is just the stupidest person on the freaking planet. And he had absolutely no idea that anything had gone on, and he just went about his day. He had no idea his phone had been used. He had no idea that Quentin was dead in that playpen. He's just an idiot. They haven't come out and said that. So I hope that neither Billy, Leilani, or Danny, and for that matter, Cody, because Cody, from what I'm understanding, he kind of needs to get some stuff together too, have any idea where Zane and Sky are. These kids that come out of these toxic environments, they deserve a second chance, like with the Wells kids. From what I'm understanding, I could have been told wrong. Dawn and Candace were not even privy as to where their boys went.
I hope they don't know where those kids went. I hope Grandma, Mom, and Dad, I hope none of them know where those babies are. It's a shame, though, because
Isn't
even
Don
though
getting
those...
out soon?
Yes.
He's getting out this weekend.
Yep.
Ugh. That's a shame.
With Danny and Paul were in the house, how could they not know? That's the question. Unless Danny honestly saw him there at 6 a.m. and went to work, and after 6 a.m. is when she did whatever she did to Quentin, and then got a hold of Danny and said, I can't find Quentin. That's the only thing I can think of for him to not know.
Conveniently after trash pickup.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How old is Paul? Do we know?
I was trying to figure out like the kids' age. So if Grandma is 45 and Mom is 22, so 45, I mean, she could have been 15 when she had her first kid.
Yeah,
I mean, so he could be
got his
35. No, he would be 30. And one's in jail.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How many kids are there? Because there's a Paul, there's a Michael, there's Leilani, and then who's the son that's in jail? What's his name?
His name is Quentin as well. That's his middle.
That's right. That's right. You're right.
I
was thinking it was Leilani, Paul, and Quentin, and then that Michael pops up, and I want to say, isn't he like a stepbrother?
Oh, he is. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Because that confused me too, because I was like,
Yes.
who the heck is this?
Yes, you are.
Who's
correct.
Michael? I've never heard of Michael.
Yes.
And there's stepkids and stuff like that. There's going to be somebody new coming out of the woodwork. There's stepkids. There's her kids. There's going to be somebody new all the time. We heard from, what's his name? John last weekend. I say John. Another one of them. He's actually, or Joe. He's in the Air Force. Paul is He's 17 or 18, I believe. Like I said, I'm going through all my notes, so give me a second. But it's going to be one thing after another. It's going to be one thing.
Like I said, every day it's going to be something new. A new theory, a new person showing up, something every day until this is over.
Yeah.
Hang on right here. I was wrong about the age.
I was going to say, I just saw that.
Paul is 20. Ask and you shall receive around here. Paul is 21. Leilani is 22. Michael is 29. Joe is 27. Alrighty then.
Thank you. Thank you.
And like I said, some are stepbrothers, some are blood. I don't know. But anyway, as far as Danny goes, either he is just an idiot, and Paul too, because Paul was there, and they just had no idea anything was going on. Something happened in that house. They taped off all the windows.
Yes.
And 2 days later, drained the pool. 2 days later, said, we have evidence to believe he's deceased. They did the taping off of the windows after they'd already drained the pool. That was done, I believe, on a Monday. The next day is when we saw the windows being taped off from the inside. And then like on that Thursday, I probably have all these dates wrong. You can kill me for it later, beat me up later. They came out and said, we have evidence to believe he's deceased. So something went down, and you're telling me neither Danny or Paul have any idea. I have a hard time. I have a hard time believing that. Unless they're just idiots or very hard sleepers. I don't know.
Paula, Danny, I think it stated that he got to work 17 minutes late. So I think he got to work somewhere about 17 minutes late that day. Okay, someone else says 30. So we're like within, he was late.
Okay, so I heard that he was late too, and then I heard that that's not really a big deal because he ran late for work all the time. That I believe.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't know where I got that at, so that's why I stopped. Yes, it was not a big thing for him to stroll in late. I wonder no, I don't. But I'm just kind of curious, like I wonder what type of work he did.
Yeah, because he went in late and then he left early because Quentin was missing. It was a heck of a work day for him.
But he obviously didn't stay there very long. What did he do? Drive there, show his face, and come back? Don Wells? Yep. Because he was there when Diana showed up because he's the one that wouldn't let her in the house.
Yes.
He would not let her in.
Yeah, isn't he the one that said, we've already searched, like we don't need your help, just be gone, basically.
Yeah, besides the fact that she got a call from Danny, do you have Quentin? Have you seen Quentin? Which still is very odd to me that he would even make that call.
But it adds up if he didn't send the text.
Oh, for sure. For sure. But is it a regular routine? I'm going to guess yes. That Leilani is so out of her mind that she wouldn't know what's going on.
I mean, as a grandparent, I have a 10-year-old grandson also. In my eyes, he's just perfect. But let me tell you something. If he would come up missing, you would have found me running up and down the streets, yelling and screaming for his name. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood would have heard I had a grandson missing. Everybody would. Everybody in my area would know that I had a missing grandson. We would all be out looking for him. My ass wouldn't have been inside that house. I would have been outside. I'd have been yelling his name. I would have been screaming his name. I would have been a mess.
But again, we're normal people.
I know. I mean, it's like.
I mean, one time my kid fell asleep on the bus. So he was on the back of the bus and he didn't get off the bus, and he was supposed to be going to my parents' house that day and he didn't show up, and they called me, and I mean, it was like immediate panic, and we're calling the school, and calling his friends. Like, did he get off at another stop and all this stuff? And he woke up as the bus driver was like finishing their route going out of town. And so she had to bring him back. But I mean, I can remember it was terrifying. I'm like, oh my God, what happened to my child? And everyone, like you said, knew. We're calling everybody.
Right. Britt Sadie's got a really a good comment. What if Leilani had Danny's phone? He left to go to work without it. On a break, he came home to get his phone. Oh darn, I just lost it.
Hey everybody.
Hello, but he came home. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so what if Leilani had Danny's phone? He left work without it. On a break, he came home to get his phone, and that's when he called Babysitter, and then the cops were there after that. That's a pretty good one, too.
Well, I put Diana up on the screen because she explains that she got there to help look, and he sent her away, but she didn't say that until the 8th, I believe. But the police were pulling up. They were super fast. What's going on, Sarah?
Hey guys, I'm just at work. I just wanted to chime in real quick. I just think it's so crazy. I'm actually 22 years old myself, and I have a 21-month-old. So, this case has hit home for me. It's really upsetting, and it's really frustrating to me that as a young mother, you can be a good mom and still have a balance in life. I'm actually finishing my nursing degree up right now, and it's so frustrating having these young mothers put their kids to the side and treat them like garbage. And it's just, I can't fathom. I've never been so mad at my son that I've just been like, oh, I just don't want you anymore. It's mind-boggling to me, honestly.
Oh, hun, good for you. So this case is really hitting home with you. That's like me with the Susan Smith case. Because my boys, and I was a young mom too, were basically about the same age as her children. And it never occurred to me that Susan Smith did it. I don't know why. This is a Brooks from a long time ago. Of course, I jumped to that assumption now. So this is really probably taking it out of you because, like you said, you're a young mom, you're working, you're going to school, you're taking care of your child, and then you see her. What are you making of all this besides what I just said?
I honestly, I can't even, I feel like she's definitely guilty. You don't like to presume people guilty until they are proven guilty, but the fact that they came out and said that she's a primary suspect, I think that speaks for itself. But I just think it's disgusting. Like, honestly, it's a shit show, the whole thing is just ridiculous. Like, to have so many people out there every day looking for him, I honestly don't even think that he's in the landfill at this point, just because of how confident they are. You just don't know with them. I just think their whole family is everyone is fending for themselves, but they almost have to protect one another to protect themselves.
I think so too. And they are very, very confident. And I think, they're not very good with detail. They're not very good with detail. I will say that, because the press conference that they gave, which a lot of people said it was a whole lot of nothing. Well, no, there was a lot of something in there where they were explaining what was going to be happening with this landfill search. And one thing they said was, it's not going to be a couple of days. It's not going to be a couple of weeks. They even said at one point it could take months. So I don't know why, considering it hasn't, it probably seems like forever, but that doesn't mean the fact that they keep going back every day, maybe taking off the weekends to go through evidence, but the fact that they keep going back every day should tell them something.
Yeah. I think there definitely is probably a lot of evidence pointing towards the landfill for sure.
Do we know that they're still searching that landfill?
Yep, they're still out there.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, every day except the weekend.
Yeah, this whole case is it's disgusting. And to know that his body is still out there, it's just like, give it up. It's just let him rest in peace, Give him a proper burial.
Pat Wick in chat says his clothes were found in a neighbor's trash can wet and smelled like bleach. Mother was seen putting them in there as on the neighbor's camera. I've never seen. I'd love to see some receipts on that. I personally have never seen anything.
I've heard it, but I also heard it was debunked.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I mean, I'm just kind of skimming through, and I'm like, because I always, I'd not had heard that. But there's a lot of things I haven't heard, and that's why I love these chats.
Oh, and that's the thing. We hear lots of stuff, and there is tons and tons and tons of stuff out there. There's tons of stuff. But I mean, I try to wait as long as I can. I'll discuss some stuff when it sounds like it could make sense, or depending on where it came from. But I'll make sure to say, but this is a rumor. What I wait on pins and needles for is what little bit of nuggets law enforcement gives us. And we aren't getting very many right now.
No, we're not. Stitchy Widget says that I guess mom or grandma stated that they could not go outside looking for him. Seriously? Right. What police officer would tell a parent not to go? You wouldn't. I would already be gone. I mean,
that's what I started to say. Even if you tell me not to go, I'm going.
I'm going, yelling, screaming. And I live in a place where we have woods. I would be yelling and screaming and just screaming for him so he could hear me. You know, if he did get lost in the woods or whatever.
I would be out there before the police even showed up.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Now, not going to the landfill, I understand that. We don't want you out there.
No.
But no.
I'd like her out there.
I would.
Yeah, I'd like her out there.
But I mean, no policeman's going to say, no, please don't go look for your children. All right, let me go through this that Diana said. Because this was her live she did the day after Quentin went missing.
I'm coming on because I'm getting a lot of questions, which I don't mind the questions at all. I'm getting a lot of people very concerned about Quentin. So I'm going to wait for a few minutes until somebody comes on. Wait until more people come on so I can tell everybody, what is going on, what I know about Coulter and Garage. There's been so much going on the last couple days. I am the babysitter. I have been babysitting Quentin and Zane and Sky. Quentin went missing. I was supposed to pick him up they were supposed to bring him to me at 5:30, like they do every morning. They did not bring him to me. I got a text saying he would not be there. So I got up and got, everybody off to work as usual. I went to McDonald's for my girls. On the way back, I get a text saying, have you seen Quentin from the stepdad? I immediately call him. I said, no, why? He said he's missing. So I get in my car. They live 2 houses down from me. I go over there. I try to go in the house and help them find him. I was told, no, we already looked. She already looked. I said, okay. So I waited for a few minutes and I said again, are you sure? He's a kid. He could be in a closet hiding. He could be in a cabinet. Kids get everywhere. I was told again, no. So I started to leave. When I started to leave, all the cops pulled up behind me. So my car was in a crime scene and I just got my car back today, my SUV. I have cried.
Okay. Now, I have to re-listen to things over and over and over I do. And something jumps out all the time. And I am not saying that Diana has anything to do with this. But did she just say my car was in a crime scene and I just got it back? Oh, you guys are muted. Is that what she said?
Yeah, I think she means when she went over to help look for Quentin, that she was parked in the driveway and then the cops came and they wouldn't let her take her car out because they were processing it as a crime scene.
This is October 6th. So they kept her car there. They wouldn't let her move her car until the next day. Hey, PJ, we lost Monagoots. Can you reconnect? So she
that seems a little
Hey,
nuts.
Brooks.
That's a long time.
What's up, PJ?
She had said this story a couple times, and it was that she was already on scene, and once the police were called, they were blocking her, and then her car was basically on scene, at the scene, so she couldn't leave. But what I just caught, which I didn't catch until just now, was where she said that Danny texted her saying that she would not be watching Quentin. Does that mean she was going to be watching the other two children that day?
No, I didn't catch that. Hang on. Let me listen to this again.
It's down for me. I go over there. Like they do every morning. They did not bring him to me. I got a text saying he would not be there. So I got up and got, everybody off to work as usual. I went to McDonald's for my girls.
She's phrasing it. Now, mind you, she's had a lot going on. But she's phrasing it as if Quentin was the only one she was not going to be taking care of.
That's how
I had never caught it before.
That's how I understood it also. And so that makes me want to know why she said it like that, because I don't believe she had any of the children, because when she came over and she was on scene, because the police were there and all that, she says she asked them if they wanted her to take Zane, because all the commotion, and so she didn't have him unless she came running over with both of the children she was caring for.
No, I don't think she's ever mentioned having the other two.
She took Zane back home with her.
Right, because she needed them to go get him a pair of shoes or something. So it doesn't sound like he had been there the whole day.
It's just weird phrasing. It makes it sound like only Quentin wouldn't be going with her.
Right. And if that was the case for me, I don't see why she wouldn't have been like, okay, well, where is he? Why? Because I can see saying, all three of the kids aren't coming, she's going to stay home and spend a little extra time with the kids. I can see that. Okay. I wouldn't question that. But if you're like, hey, I'm just keeping one kid, sorry, take the other two, I would want to know why.
Yeah, you would think they would have said Quentin's not going to come because he's sick today or something like that.
But see, I think, and even that, though, would be so unusual, because what stuck out for me in my mind, now, one, it is odd that she gets a text at 5:30 that morning and then Quentin goes missing. What's really odd about it is when she was talking to the news on October 5th, that evening, and she said, whether they work or not, now we know Leilani doesn't work, but either way, no matter what, I still watch the kids.
On the way back, I get a text saying, have you seen Quentin, from the stepdad? I immediately call him. I said, no, why? He said he's missing. So I get in my car. They live 2 houses down from me. I go over there. I try to go in the house and help them find him. I was told, no, we already looked. She already looked. I said, okay. So I waited for a few minutes and I said again, are you sure? He's a kid. He could be in a closet hiding. He could be in a cabinet. You know, kids get everywhere. I was told again, no. So I started to leave. When I started to leave, all the cops pulled up behind me. So my car was in a crime scene, and I just got my car back today, my SUV. I have cried. He's not my child.
And I'm not pointing any fingers at Diana at all. I'm trying to figure out with the car, because she said, I just got it back today, why they wouldn't move their damn police cars so she could take her car home. She's the babysitter there trying to help. How did she carry Zane back home?
I think that they had to inspect her vehicle as she was one of the main characters in this whole thing. That's the only thing that would make sense, is while they were there on the crime scene, I think they probably just went ahead and did a sweep of her vehicle as well, because if she was the babysitter 24/7 most of the time, I would think that's a good place to find his DNA or something of his.
Oh, sure, exactly.
I took care of him. The last day that I had him, he grabbed my face and he kissed me. And he really loved us a lot. I didn't sleep last night. I didn't eat yesterday. And this is not about me. This is about Quentin. This is about his family. Like, you know, I was told today I was just the babysitter by a lady, but it doesn't matter. I loved him. My whole family loved him. We don't know what happened to Quentin. We don't know where he is. Do I think that this whole thing is not right and I have a sick feeling in my stomach? Yes, I do. Something is not right. The cops don't seem to know anything now.
What's that?
I can't believe she just said the same exact thing that Casey Anthony's mother said on a phone call. Something's not right.
Yep.
Wow, I just got goosebumps. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Me too. And I put this clip up for everybody to see, because when I listened to it again, I was getting goosebumps, because this is very soon after Quentin went missing, and she's already saying something's not right. Something's not right. Now, when you're on the outside looking in, you can say something like that, but she's on the inside. She's the babysitter. She knows him personally. She was just with Quentin hours earlier. That is, oh man, yeah, me too.
I just really replayed Cindy Anthony saying it to the dispatcher when she was calling about Casey and Kaylee being missing, like verbatim. She said the exact same thing. Something's not right.
Or they won't tell us anything. But we love Quentin. We're praying for Quentin. We're praying that he will be found. So the people that are involved, the neighbors are walking the roads, that they went everywhere. I mean, they've covered so much around here. This baby cannot be this far. I was literally outside when
she said the people that are involved. Well, if a little boy just wanders outside and gets hurt, well, obviously somebody wasn't paying attention, and they damn sure should have been. But this explains 100% Billy going down there on Saturday and busting in the door and having it out with her. It wasn't about a memorial, and it wasn't about flyers. It was about talking to the news, because Angel P brought this up, and I agree with her. Talking to the news to say, they texted me that morning, told me not to come over. That's one thing. That you know, they didn't need the babysitter that day. It still is very coincidental. But when she is on her page, on her Facebook, saying the people involved, I bet that made her livid.
I agree.
he was supposed to go missing. We're outside every day around 7:30. From 7:30 until 9 that day, I was outside because my son actually went to work at 8:30. We would have seen Quentin if he would have got outside. I don't believe that he just walked outside. And if he did, it's still the mother's fault, because you know what? She should have been up with them kids. She shouldn't have let him go outside. Either way, she's responsible. And I know a lot of people's going to comment, I shouldn't be talking about this, but I've been in their lives for the last several months, and something's not adding up. And only God knows. And
Damn right something's not adding up. The first title of the show I did for little Quentin was "No Foul Play My Ass," because the police were saying, well, right now we don't have any evidence of foul play. Now they're showing their timeline and how fast they got the FBI there, because they did have evidence of foul play. They knew it all along. Silent Treatment said, I told you this story is growing day by day for the babysitter, BJ, Leilani, and all the other family members' mouths. They're all making each other look like suspects. As of right now, the only suspect is Leilani. All the evidence points towards Leilani as per law enforcement. It's just very chilling when you hear in retrospect what little bit we know now. Hearing her say less than 24 hours after he went missing, I say roughly, she was already calling it out. Silent Treatment says BJ did say she was going to start striking all YouTubers that mentioned any of the kids' names. Well, I'm sure that is upsetting to her, and it would be to me as well. This is all public information. If the police can say Quentin's name on a press conference, and if names are printed in the newspaper, we certainly can. It's certainly not against YouTube terms of service.
The mother and the stepdad and the brother knows what happened. And I just pray that if she did something, if she, whatever happened, she tells. If she knows where this baby is, she tells where he is and what happened. So that's all I know. I don't know anything else. I will let y'all know as soon as I know anything. I'm literally sitting right in the middle of all these FBI agents, and I don't know nothing, because if you ask them, of course, I'm not family. They're not going to tell me. But that's all I know, guys. I will let y'all know as soon as I know anything else. But I hope that everybody keeps sharing his pictures. I just feel like sharing his pictures probably isn't going to help, because he didn't get taken. But at this point, I don't know what else to do.
Very chilling. Because like I said,
wow,
isn't that crazy? And that was October 6th. She already knew something was going on, but the police were saying they didn't have any evidence at the time of foul play. And now they're saying she's our prime suspect. Doesn't mean that more evidence isn't going to come out that someone else could have been involved. I don't know. That's just what we have today. I don't think Danny sent that text.
Maybe they're just the victim of very bizarre coincidences, but how convenient is it that one day Quentin doesn't go to the babysitter, also happens to be trash day, and this boy goes missing?
Also happens to be the day that supposedly Mary Poppins, the 24-hour live-in nanny, was supposed to start.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
where
her.
did that come from? I never heard that until like 2 days ago, that there was supposedly some new nanny.
She told somebody else that it wasn't that Diana was told not to come over. So there's nothing suspicious about that, right? It's because she'd been fired. They had found new help.
Wow.
What happened?
One thing that just struck me really, like, I, again, got goosebumps, because here we are today, and that was, what, the 6th? She already has enough conviction to know that there's no reason to put his flyers up, no reason to share his photo.
Well, and if Danny didn't know what happened, then how come when the babysitter came over to offer to help look for him, why was he so quick to be like, we don't need your help?
I believe he knew what happened because of just how it was described and how the babysitter said he looked like he had a blank, non-emotion stare. If you go through something or you witness something that's not kosher, you're going to have that kind of reaction,
Exactly.
in my opinion.
But if you aren't involved, you're going to welcome any help available to find your child. Even if it's your neighbor that you've never even spoke to and they want to help you look, you're going to be like, yes, please get out there and look for my baby.
If all the allegations are true, he's been around witnessing this child get abused. And so therefore, he's not going to openly just be like, oh yeah, I'll help you and let's work together against her, because he's actively been witnessing it and participating in it. Also, if the drugs are in fact a key to these people's lives, I do believe what the latest thing Billy has said. She does say a truthful thing here and there, but she said how drugs make you not the same person as you would be without drugs. So there's a lot of key things that could go into this as to why this is showing up the way it is, in my opinion.
They all lie. They all lie. They just all lie. They know how bad they look. Billy knows how bad it looks that not that she went to work. No one is talking about her going to work. Hang on, Lex. You didn't hear everything we said. You only caught part of it. Not because she went to work, but because she did not make sure that the children were protected when she went to work. And Lex, I'm going to answer your questions. Diana was not fired. This is just a new rumor that they're coming up with, that they had a 24-hour nanny that was supposed to start the morning of. Then the story changed again that the 24/7 live-in nanny was going to start when Billy got back. No, there was nothing like that going on. There was nothing like that going on at all. It's just one story after another. Sorry, Lex. I didn't mean to confuse an already confusing story. But I think Billy is scared. I really think she's scared. She already knows that Quentin is not coming back. She already knows that. She wants to take the heat off her daughter as much as possible. I think she wants to get the heat off her daughter so much because of her possible charges coming down the road, which is she knew not to leave the kids alone with Leilani.
One thing that gets to me is where the Billy Joe comes in and starts arguing with the babysitter on that video that her daughter recorded, and she starts yelling, I tried to get you to help me, like as if she was trying to get the babysitter to care for the kids, but the babysitter specifically says complete opposite in her first interview that I saw, where she said, she was going to keep the kids because Leilani was messing up at that time. While right before the child goes missing, Leilani was messing up to the point where the babysitter felt the need to call Billy Joe, and Billy Joe supposedly to tell her, yeah, go ahead and keep him overnight. And then she said, well, she called me back 45 minutes and said, I'm just going to go ahead and give her a chance. She's a young mother and I went through the same thing and whatnot. So all of Billy's actions now, in my opinion, are deflection, and she's angry with herself because she knew what was happening. But I do believe she's going to have some sort of consequence for that.
I think so too. Because
definitely.
Not that Jennifer Coffindaffer is, God or anything. I just thought it was an interesting tweet that she put out. Law enforcement steadfastly working to bring the facts together to charge this case. LS, meaning Leilani, is the person of interest, but Billy may have liability as guardian under GC 1511-2F when she chose to leave Quentin with Leilani, knowing Leilani was unfit. So as we've all been speculating, I wonder if something will happen to Billy. I wonder. She throws a law out. there it is. That's
I actually hadn't seen that, and that's great. That actually makes me feel a lot better about this whole case if they go ahead and go that route. I just don't understand why both of them are allowed to just sit home freely as if, their child isn't missing, and just go about their business as if they're happily just home, just having a beer, whatever it is that they're doing. And I guess being from Virginia, where they can just take you in and question you and then not release you, I guess with the Corey Bigsby case, it's just so confusing to me how a different state can be so different, I guess.
well, I know it is. It's frustrating because
and especially she's on probation. Like how when Michael was on Cher's channel, I'm sorry, I'm so passionate about this case. I start talking over people. I'm really sorry. But I just remember something and then it's like, oh my God. But when Michael was talking to Cher asked him questions from the audience or whatever. And they're like, well, was she sober? And he says, yes, she was sober on her last test. And then Cher says, well, we know that she wasn't on the October 5th test. And I'm like, she's on probation and she's failing piss tests? What?
Well, that's what I'm saying too. If you want to nab her on a violation of probation, I don't know the terms of her probation. Can they lock her up? Was she ever? I don't know. I don't know what the terms are. Is it you can't do? I mean, obviously you can't be on drugs. I get that. But is it, what was the original sentence? I don't know. Was the original sentence a year in jail, 2 years in jail, 6 months? I don't know. Is it 1 week? I don't know. I don't know the terms of her probation.
According
I
to
feel like they could use it as a holding charge to at least haul her ass in and have her sit there for a while.
Exactly.
There's got to be a way.
With the way that she's reacting to having protesters and supposedly stating that, she feels like she's caged in and can't go into her own house or can't relax in her house. Imagine how she would feel in a jail cell.
Yeah, they don't know what being a prisoner and being caged in is, but they're going to find out.
They are. And the one that's really causing the disruption really is Billy. Leilani, I mean, yeah, she was dancing in the window, and I guess she held the gate open for the fight that broke out the other night, or was about to break out. Nothing was going to happen there. But it seems like it's Billy that's pressing all the buttons, and I can't figure out why she'd want to. I would be laying low. She could very, very possibly have her own problems within the next few months.
Oh, I agree. I don't know why they're drawing so much attention to themselves. It's a bad move, but let them do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just so used to being able to do what they're doing and get their own way. Like, it's just their behavior pattern. That's just how they've been able to get through life so far.
Well, that's exactly it. Deflect, 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 drug. Deflect, drug.
Yep. Look over here. Don't look here. Look over there.
Mm-hmm. And some people, I mean, negative attention, that's great. That's great for them. I mean, somewhere in their little minds, they think they're getting somewhere. And I don't understand, because you have a few people in a chat saying, oh, you're right, it could be Diana. Oh, you're right, Danny did it all. Oh, I understand. It doesn't matter, because when those people get bored and move along to something else, and they will, you still have to face the judge. It doesn't matter what they think. When the evidence says it's Leilani did this, and Billy, that was the one person that we said not to leave the children with. That's the one person. See, she wants it to be anybody but Leilani, because Leilani was the one unfit to be around the kids.
See, that's the part that I really wanted to get more information on, is their custody agreement, because they keep saying that it wasn't like an incident where CPS was like, okay, we're going to take her kids. Somebody's better step up or else. I believe it was an incident where they just decided, based on maybe her possibly going to jail later for something she'd gotten arrested for. I'm not really sure how it went down, which is what I want to find out. But I believe they went and just decided, okay, you're going to have custody of the kids just in case I have to go to jail or something. So they keep stating
they don't think like that. They don't think about the kids. This is not, they're going to see Billy is spinning this story because she right from the beginning. I mean, it came out in the news, I'd say like by noon on the 5th. You know, these news articles are circulating. Quentin Simon is missing. It didn't take people any time to jump in those comments and say, because Leilani's a drug addict. Well, hey, Billy knew too that Leilani was not supposed to be with her kids. So this was not a civil agreement. She keeps telling people that because she wants us to believe it. They already know because the documents when they went to foster care were already leaked where it said Billy has custody. I have to read them again. This wasn't something between them that they just like a rule they made up. The powers that be were very much involved.
See, that bothers me then also about the newest baby then. And why was she supposedly born with drugs in her system and nothing was done and she was still left in the care of Leilani, like in her custody? In my state, again, I believe they would have instantly saw a newborn on drugs at birth and been like, okay, yep, we've got a problem here. Give me that baby and you go get help. And, you know, it would have instantly been taken care of. But apparently she's just, this is crazy.
It is. I can't figure it out. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I just realized what time it was. I've almost kept you guys for 3 hours. I did not mean to do that. I meant to have kind of a laid back, easier going Friday. And I'm all heated up. I'm so mad at these people.
Yeah, they make me very angry. Every time I see them out there just living their lives, doing their thing, and then I picture all the people at the landfill looking for Quentin, it's disgusting.
The landfill pictures upset me almost as much as seeing pictures of little Quentin. When I see those pictures, it makes me so damn mad. And then the justification coming from Camp Billy. She is going to continue to blame everybody but her own daughter. Let me tell you what, she would have already thrown Leilani under the bus if it wasn't for the fact that she could very well get in trouble for leaving the kids with Leilani. She wouldn't care. She's got a son in jail for murder. She's got a son in jail for murder.
No, like I said, she's just covering her own ass at this point.
Exactly. Absolutely crazy. Oh, I know what I was going to show you guys. I wanted to have something happy before we get on with our weekend. You guys got a second?
Yep.
Oh, you're on pins and needles for my happy moment, aren't you?
I could use a little happy.
Okay.
Okay, this story got people talking all over social media yesterday. Many of you saw this picture right here of a coal miner and his son at UK's blue-white scrimmage over the weekend.
Well, it went viral, and now UK head coach John Calipari is giving the family a Kentucky basketball VIP experience. WDW's Griffin Gonzalez with the follow-up tonight, sharing a special bond between father and son. Meet the McGuire family.
Like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get him there to experience all this.
Now, the McGuires are like a lot of Kentuckians. Husband, wife, 2 kids, and oh boy, do they love the cats. This is Easton McGuire, and he's a pretty big Cats fan. So naturally, when the Wildcats were coming to the family's hometown of Pikeville for the annual Blue-White game, the McGuires just had to go.
You know, it was heartwarming that they were willing to come to Eastern Kentucky to help out.
And then, I knew that my husband and my son were going to get to share that experience. He was like, are they going to be super tall? We're talking about the players. And I was like, yeah, buddy, they're going to be super tall.
Easton's dad, Michael, works for Excel Mining. On the night of the Blue-White game, he was running a bit late and had no option but to come straight to the game from work, which led to this photo. Social media picked it up and it went viral, going all the way up to Coach Calipari himself.
Because when I saw the picture, I was like it hit me right between the eyes.
Calipari wasted no time to tweet out, "My family's American dream started in a Clarksburg, West Virginia coal mine. So this picture hits home," adding, "I don't know who this is, but I have tickets for him and his family at Rupp to be treated like VIPs.
I didn't really discover it until I got service today when I got out from work. And my phone just went crazy.
He wanted to be there so bad that he was willing to leave without shower, without change, to just get in his car and go because he got out of the mine late. One about that is that he wanted to be there with his son. That's why he did it.
The family said Cal promised a UK superfan's dream: tickets to watch the Cats at Rupp Arena, new UK gear, and even dinner with Coach Cal himself.
I'm just so happy that, not only did Big Blue Nation come together to support, but the appreciation for what my husband does. It brought me to tears a couple times today.
But for Cal, it's more than basketball. It's the power of a relationship between a father and a son.
I've done some things that have been fulfilling for my wife and I. But this, you'd have to say, you're bringing light to a good man, a hardworking Kentuckian, a coal miner who does everything he can to make time for his family and his son and his daughter. Come on, that's what it ends up being. That's the story.
Reporting, Griffin Gonzalez, WDRB Sports.
Oh, I got goosebumps. That is so sweet.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
that.
When I saw that this morning, I had ugly tears. And it's a very happy story that, this man wants to spend time with his little boy, doesn't even have time to shower or anything. He comes out of the coal mine, doesn't even, and they go to the basketball game. The coach sees the picture circulating. He says, "I want to do something." I'm crying too, Sal. I'm in tears. And I'm trying to find more happy stories to put in so we can understand normalcy, because what we witnessed there and we're crying about, it's normal. That's normal. That's what people do. You rush home from work to grab your child and go to a game, go to the movies. These people we're talking about, these are freaks of fucking nature.
Exactly.
Billy?
Oh, that was so wonderful. I'm so glad you shared that. That made my day.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm so glad that you shared this morning with us too, my friend.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Anytime.
I hope you have a great weekend.
You too, and I'm glad that you're over being sick. And I will text you later this afternoon and figure out what's going on for the weekend. And I don't know, all kinds of stuff going on. Supposedly Dawn's going to be getting out of jail. Who knows?
Yep. All right. Well, I will talk to you later then.
All right. Talk to you a little bit. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm talking like I'm on the phone. What the hell? I've got too much going on. I'll link that story about the coal miner in Kentucky. I'll link that in the bio if you guys want to look at it, share it, or whatever. Muscles, I know. Muscles goes, "I hate Kentucky basketball, but I'm down with this." I know. I was bawling too when I saw it this morning. Wanted to share that with you guys because, well, you guys are my friends and super cool people. Who's not super cool is Billy, Leilani, and whoever else is involved in the disappearance of Quentin Simon. We're going to continue to follow this case, as you know. Also, I got a text from Michelle Reynolds' husband who said, "Thank you for getting my wife's story out there. So he's obviously seen that people are sharing. So let's continue to do that. And we will be back Monday morning. We have our Halloween members live. I don't know if I'll have another show that day or not. Depends on what goes on. But you guys are awesome. I will be talking with you guys back and forth, in Discord, Facebook, what have you, over the weekend. So you guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being the best community and the best chat on YouTube. I will see you back here Monday morning. Bye-bye.